The name Gordon Ramsay will be familiar to everyone who enjoys watching culinary shows and eating gourmet, high-end cuisine. When it comes to celebrity chefs from this era, Gordon Ramsay is right up there. The fearless and passionate character he plays on television has made him famous. The thing that has people on the edge of their seats at the moment is not his personality. Ramsay recently told the world about a terrifying ordeal in which he came dangerously close to death. Many are wondering what the future holds for the cooking star in light of this unexpected development. Gordon Ramsay, what happened to him? How about we find out? The narrative of Ramsay is one of courage and perseverance, but first let's examine this star's ascent to fame before we get into the facts. The town of Johnstone in the Renfrewshire administrative area is where Gordon James Ramsay came into this world. England on the 8th of November 1966. He was born to Nurse Helen and the late Gordon James Sr., who had a varied career that included managing swimming pools, welding, and running a shop. The source of Ramsay's resiliency is clear to me now. Unfortunately, Ramsay claims that his dad wasn't the best dad in the world. His reputation as a hard-drinking womanizer was tarnished by Ramsay. His violent outbursts as an alcoholic are the reason behind this. Ramsay characterized his early existence as hopelessly nomadic due to these difficult conditions. Ramsay also said that the family's incessant moving was due to his father's ambitions and shortcomings. They emigrated to the Bishopton area of Stratford-upon-Avon, a market town and civil parish in Warwickshire, England, when he was 9 years old and settled there. Although the family had hoped for a fresh start with the relocation, it did not materialize. Ramsay's dad continued to engage in risky behaviors. Ramsay came clean about his father's violence and neglect of the family in his memoirs. Even as a young child, Ramsay's resiliency was evident. In order to make ends meet, Ramsay had to take a job as a potwasher at an Indian restaurant where his sister worked, despite his dreams of being a professional football player. At the tender age of 12, Ramsay had his wish granted when he was selected to participate in the under-14 games. Regrettably, injuries marred his early career. A major knee injury sustained during one of his games ultimately led to the young boy giving up on his dream. As a child, Ramsay endured a difficult environment. During his adolescent years, Ramsay had a passion for food. He was heartbroken to give up football, but he reasoned that he might be a great chef instead of the infamous gammy-knee football player. Ramsay made the decision to devote more time and energy to his culinary study when he was 19 years old. Among the world's largest service organizations, Rotary International, he was fortunate to get sponsorship from its members, the Rotarians. Ramsay attended the education and training organization North Oxfordshire Technical College in Oxford to get a degree in hotel management. Things appeared to work out for him, even though he did say that going to culinary school was an accidental decision. Ramsay started working as a communist cook at the Roxton House Hotel in the early 1980s. With time, he took over the kitchen and dining room of the Wickham Arms, which had 60 seats. Unfortunately, his good fortune was short-lived. He was fired from his position due to the difficulties caused by his extramarital affair with the owner's wife. After that, he relocated to London and struggled to make ends meet by working at a number of restaurants. It was British chef and TV star Marco Pierre White who eventually hired him to work at Harvey's. Once more, fortune was smiling on Ramsay. Unfortunately, his lucky streak vanished as quickly as it appeared. He was sick of the violent outbursts, bullying, and violence after working for Harvey's for just 2 years and 10 months. He felt he needed to move up the corporate ladder. The challenges Ramsay has in her life, beginning with difficult childhoods and continuing with disrespectful treatment at work, are ever increasing. Ramsay came to the conclusion that if he wanted to take his career to the next level, he had to learn French cuisine. We will see in a little how this decision will benefit Ramsay in the years to come. An offer of employment in Paris came as a result of Ramsay's dogged pursuit of professional advancement. Ramsay had his heart set on taking the Paris position, but his supervisor, White, tried to dissuade him. White instead suggested that Ramsay apply for a position with the brother and restaurateur Albert Roux of Le Gavroche in Mayfair, London. Roux is French. Ramsay followed White's lead and took a job with Roux as a result. After Ramsay had worked for Roux for a year, Roux encouraged him to join him at the French Alps ski resort Hotel Diva as his number 2, so it turned out that this relocation wasn't that bad. That was the turning point that allowed him to follow his dreams. Ramsay relocated to Paris at the age of 23 to apprentice under the tutelage of Joel Robuchon and Guy Savoy, both of whom held Michelin stars. The Michelin guides have been issued continuously since 1900 by the French tire company Michelin for anyone who are unfamiliar with the word. For outstanding restaurant selections, the guide can bestow up to 3 Michelin stars. Ramsay had the honor of working for 3 years under the tutelage of these 2 culinary titans. The mental and physical toll of working in a restaurant kitchen eventually got to him too. He resigned and spent a year working as a cook on the Bermuda-based private yacht Idlewild. You could say that Ramsay's career was anything but smooth, couldn't you? Similar to his previous resignations, there were new possibilities with Ramsay's new employment. What followed was an even bigger and better one. Achieving one's goals is as close as one's determination. He learned Italian cuisine and sailed to Sicily and Sardinia as part of his new job on the boat. Ramsay might then advance to the position of head chef. The culmination of Ramsay's perseverance, resolve, and hard work had arrived at a turning moment in his life. Chef patron Pierre Kaufmann, a French professional chef, offered Ramsay the post of head chef at his Chelsea restaurant La Tante Claire upon his 1993 return to London. Again, Ramsay finds a way into a restaurant with a Michelin star. The cosmos seemed to be guiding him towards extraordinary achievements. He isn't finished yet with his winning stakes. Marco Pierre White was the boss, you remember? Well, White's business associates owned Rossmore, and after Ramsay gained prominence, he made an encore appearance, this time to offer Ramsay a position as head chef and a 10% stake in the company. The fact that Ramsay took it again and gave it the name Aubergine shows that this man must have a sweet tooth. In all candor, I believe Ramsay was instrumental in the restaurant's success. They were awarded their first Michelin star 14 months subsequent to Ramsay's takeover. Aubergine was awarded its second Michelin star in 1997. Even though they were having a great time, something happened that changed the trajectory of their partnership for the worse. The owners of Ramsay's Aubergine decided to turn it into a chain not long after the restaurant received its second Michelin star. But Ramsay was determined to keep his unique style and rejected the owner's suggestions. In July 1998, Ramsay departed from the partnership as a result of a disagreement with his company owners. In a subsequent interview, Ramsay characterized the day he decided to strike out on his own as the most momentous day in his culinary career and his life. Just as he had promised, Ramsay was making his way to the very top. With the support of his father-in-law, Chris Hutchison, and his old co-workers at Aubergine, he launched his own eatery in Chelsea, restaurant Gordon Ramsay. In 2001, the restaurant received its third Michelin star, among other accolades. Ramsay became the first Scot to accomplish those goals as a result of his efforts. The pinnacle of professional achievement, one may argue, is to launch one's own restaurant. That is, unless you're Gordon Ramsay. Not long after opening his first restaurant, he swiftly extended his empire. He went on to open the Petrus in London as his second restaurant. His next stop was Glasgow, where he inaugurated the Amaryllis. Ramsay had to close the Amaryllis, which was unfortunate for him. However, Ramsay remained unconcerned. He continued by opening a second eatery. The path to industrial dominance was being paved by this man. Gordon Ramsay's at Claridge's was inaugurated by him. Other places, some on a global scale like Veer in Dubai, followed suit. In addition, he established Cerise by Gordon Ramsay and Gordon Ramsay at the Conrad Tokyo, both located in the Japanese capital. His next stop was New York City, where he launched a second eatery. Here, the general people was quite critical of him, and we'll examine it later on. In spite of all the naysayers, Ramsay managed to secure the coveted spot as the city's top newcomer in the Zagat Guide. He was the recipient of numerous accolades and honors for his restaurant empire, which included locations in far-flung locales like Los Angeles, Montreal, and Ireland. Even though several of these eateries went out of business later on, Ramsay will always be grateful for the accolades he received from them. It was named 2001's best restaurant in the UK by Zagat's London survey. In 2006, Queen Elizabeth II appointed Ramsay the title of Officer of the Order of the British Empire (OB) in recognition of his many achievements both at home and in the hospitality business. He was named Independent Restaurateur of the Year in 2006 and one of 3 Katie Award winners. Also in that year, he was recognized as the UK hospitality industry's most powerful figure. Along with all these accolades, Ramsay became just the 3rd person to ever win 3 Katie Awards, and in 2013 he was also admitted into the Culinary Hall of Fame for all his other accomplishments. Not only that, but he was also recognized as the most important figure in the UK hospitality sector. Caterer and Hotel Keeper produce an annual list of the Caterer Search 100, and if that weren't impressive enough, Ramsay broke the 10-pound fish filleting record in 2017 with a timing of 1 minute and 5 seconds. He went on to roll a longer sheet of spaghetti in under a minute later that year, breaking yet another record. There were 1.45 meters on the sheet. He established a new Guinness World Record for biggest beef Wellington in 2023, and was named one of the 100 most influential persons in world hospitality in 2022 by the International Hospitality Institute. Though it would be deceiving to claim that Ramsay's professional, social, and financial lives were all going swimmingly, they had reached new heights. Throughout his life, he has had a fair number of unfortunate events. Not everything in Ramsay's life was peachy. She had a difficult childhood and had several near-death experiences. Tell me about these encounters, we'll have to see. For instance, Ramsay was very near death in June 2024. Ramsay recently startled the internet by posting a photo of a huge bruise on his left rib. A huge black mark across his back was the image he shared with his viewers on his program and different social media channels. I would advise against viewing the image if you haven't already. You may also feel frightened. Even though Ramsay was usually quite confident, he seemed frightened by the incident this time. The tragic event occurred as the world-renowned chef was partaking in a beloved pastime, biking. This is something Ramsay has done before. When Ramsay isn't in the kitchen, he often goes riding to unwind and keep healthy. So he thought this ride was easy like the others. Regrettably, he lost control and crashed to the floor on this ride. The force was so great that it sent the cook to the hospital, and big bruise covered his back from the fall. His trembling hands revealed his bruises to the world during his show's video recording. His expression betrayed the agony he had endured. No one would be able to withstand such a terrifying wound. According to Ramsay, the injury affected him emotionally as well as physically. Ramsay has a reputation for keeping quiet about his personal life, but he was so horrified by this terrible accident that he spoke publicly about his ordeal and the emotions it evoked. His admirers greatly valued his candor and transparency regarding the issue, even though it was unexpected. Another obstacle in this star's path was his tragic bike accident. His handling of healing is an indication of his strength and determination. Like any person in a comparable position, this celebrity was now coping with anguish and vulnerability. The psychological effects of the accident were becoming apparent. Ramsay expressed his profound horror at the disaster in an interview. The mental anguish, he added, was much more excruciating than the physical agony. Additionally, he expressed his fear and gratitude for being alive. I couldn't believe that, coming from a man with that kind of attitude. Ramsay was just as taken aback by what happened following the tragedy even weeks later. He expressed his difficulty in more than one interview. A week following the injury, he spoke about how tough it had been in an interview. Rather of being a mere fatality, Ramsay's injuries and the event as a whole served as a wake-up call. Although he had overcome numerous obstacles in the past, he had come to terms with the fact that he was mortal. Still, Ramsay's tenacity saw him through another ordeal of horrific hardship. This event left a more profound mark on Ramsay's emotional and mental well-being, as I had previously indicated. This was due to the fact that this tragedy brought back a comparable NDE he had endured previously. The fear of the obstinate cook was understandable, isn't it? while filming a puffin hunting section in the Westman Islands, Ireland in 2008 for Ramsay's show. Falling from an 85-meter cliff, he had missed a step. Icebergs and towering cliffs characterize the Westman Islands, as any observer of the region can tell you. Ramsay plummeted to his death into the frigid lake below while standing on one of these lofty mountains. Taking off his bulky boots and waterproof apparel allowed him to swim to the surface, which was his sole means of survival. Lucky for Ramsay, his video crew threw a rope and hauled him back up. According to the crew, Ramsay remained underwater in the frigid waters for over 45 seconds when questioned. Ramsay would describe the ordeal as horrifying in retrospect. According to him, "I believed my life was over. Water was flooding my lungs as I panicked. I felt disoriented and my head seemed enormous as I reached the peak after removing my boots." Reflecting on the audacious chef's remarks, he was truly frightened. After suffering through yet another terrifying accident, no one could have predicted that this one would leave an indelible mark on his mental health. This self-made celebrity chef from around the world has certainly had his fair share of bad luck, hasn't he? But if you thought that was the worst, you should listen to his account of being taken hostage. "With a gun in my hand, I assure you." Ramsay has a reputation for more than simply his culinary prowess. The local people and their traditions, as well as his dedication to marine conservation, are the things that he claims motivate him. The celebrity encountered another terrifying incident while serving his Costa Rican community and investigating the illicit shark fin trade off the coast of South America. The cruel practice of shark finning was the subject of a documentary he was shooting. Fin finning, for the benefit of those who aren't marine scientists, is the practice of removing an animal's fins and then releasing its carcass back into the water so it can die a natural death. He was thrust into perilous gang territory for this operation. Despite the danger, Ramsay and his team found a cache of shark fins in a boat. Because they proved cruel treatment of animals, the results were vital. The location was suddenly invaded by armed gangsters as he was filming the proof. The situation naturally became worse as the criminals threatened to light Ramsay and his crew on fire unless they departed, using gasoline to incite them. Ramsay and his team were not wanted by the vicious thugs. They wanted the detectives to leave. After some negotiation, they released Ramsay and the rest of the team. However, the criminals still had more plans for them. Following them, they persisted, shouting insults at the team till they got to a more secure location. This time, Ramsay was in the thick of things because of how committed he was to the cause. The chef's life was far from perfect, as you can see. His past experiences gave Ramsay his strong personality and towering size. In addition to altering his character, these near-death experiences have had a profound impact on his professional trajectory and methodology. Ramsay supposedly came back to work in 2008 with a renewed feeling of purpose after his cliff tragedy. The events, according to Ramsay, deepened his gratitude for life. He had to figure out how to fit his rigorous work schedule around his need for alone time. Ramsay started to put greater emphasis on his health, according to his co-workers. Swimming and cycling became his primary forms of physical activity. The 2011 crisis in Costa Rica also affected his professional life. Following the incident, Ramsay developed a stronger dedication to protecting marine life. Important issues pertaining to marine life were brought to light by him through his platforms. It appeared that Ramsay's TV character was also affected by this tragedy. Aside from being the fearless and honest guy we all know, he began to display a lot more vulnerability. His fans were overjoyed by this surprising change. They all agree that he seems more genuine and approachable now. Everything that Ramsay has been through as an international chef serves as a continual reminder that nobody is immune to adversity. Also, it serves as a gentle reminder that even the strongest men have frailties and that it's all right to show such weaknesses from time to time. Ramsay's wife Tana and their 5 children get a glimpse of the caring father and family man behind the tough exterior, and it's nice to see that. In every way, his tenacity, his drive to succeed, his yearning for respect, and his caring nature, Gordon Ramsay is an exemplary role model. We might easily pick up these features just going about our daily lives. Put your thoughts on Ramsay's life experiences and his decision to let them go in the comments.